And it's unacceptable and illegal for a station to be forced to shut down in such a manner. That's the position of the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association as it wades into the controversy surrounding the decision of Kumasi-based Oyerepa FM to halt its operations until further notice. The company this morning put the plugs in compliance with orders from the Kumasi Traditional Council. The council says the station offered its platform to the 2020 presidential candidate of the United Progressive Party, Kwesi Odayo-Dike, allegedly to insult the Asante-Hene and accuse its chiefs of complicity in illegal mining. As part of the conditions to pacify the monarch, the station is required to halt operations until further notice. Earlier today, Nana Yaw visited the station and confirmed that the management had decided to pull the station off air.
Yesterday, the management of Oyerepa FM and also some staff, that is the morning show host and other people who are involved with the morning show, were at Menchia Palace, and where they tried to apologize to the Menchia Palace for the comments that Mr. Kwesi Odayo-Dike made on their platform. Now, their argument is that even though their morning show host allowed him to completely make the allegation about the chiefs concerning their involvement, what is alleged to be the chiefs' involvement in Galamsey, he also tried, as the morning show host tried, to whip Mr. Odike in line. And at a point, he had to change the subject of discussion due to the nature of what Mr. Kwesi Odayo was saying, or according to the radio station, whatever Mr. Kwesi Odayo was saying wasn't in line with what they were discussing. So they had to change the topic. They were not expecting him to veer into that space. So the morning show host had tried his best to whip him in line, and also at a point had to change the topic. So this shows their remorse, and they went to apologize. But the Menchia Palace says since the issue was still being discussed by the Menchia Palace, or the matter was still being the chiefs were still trying to get Mr. Odike to get his side of story and discuss the issue further. If Oyerepa FM would want to show their remorse, they should shut down for today or till the end of this discussion before the Menchia Palace accepts this apology that Oyerepa FM is giving. Therefore, today, in compliance with the directive, they've decided to shut down, meaning Oyerepa FM is now off air. But the Promise Media operates both Oyerepa FM and Oyerepa TV, and some of the shows are exclusive to Oyerepa TV, including the morning show on TV. So for this reason, the TV this morning went ahead with the morning show, and the host sat in and had the normal or usual programming, but the radio didn't show up today. And after then, some other programs like the sports and other social programs which are picked from radio are off due to the fact that the radio is not working today. So it means that there are some programs that the Oyerepa TV picks from Oyerepa Radio, and due to the fact that the radio has been asked to shut down, these programs are off the screens today. At the moment, I'm learning that they are playing back some shows and other movies that they can use to keep the TV alive.
Well, so that was the report of Nana Yaw a while ago, but reacting to the latest development, the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association says the situation is not acceptable and goes against the laid-down procedures of seeking redress. Well, I got in touch with the president of the group, Cecil Sunkwa Mills, who used the opportunity to underscore the need for the passage of the broadcasting bill, which he believes will address some of these issues.
We were updated on the situation yesterday. First of all, we know that the station is an online station and they have a TV station. They actually are not one of our members, but because of it being a key industry issue, we actually took interest in it. We have engaged them. At a point, we had to. They were also in engagement with the authorities. The basic thing is a cross between the law and our cultural respect. By law, definitely we know that there are only limited entities that can order the closure of a station. However, a station may also decide to go out of service on their own volition. If the station, we did tell them that if they felt pressurized, there are options that they can use to keep in business that have been provided. There's the National Media Commission, there's the local, they have ways of dealing with it. But we do encourage, based on the situation, that they complete the engagement with the traditional council. But this morning, we realized that I've been trying to reach the manager of the station. His line is off. The executive secretary has reached out, and they said they are still in an engagement, but they're off air. What we normally would also have expected, if the station is having this challenge, they have to make a formal complaint about what is happening if they feel that they are being put under pressure, which is not legal. So that is where we are today. But we find it disappointing that this is a method that we're beginning to see. But at the same time, in the same token, it also brings about also the need for ethical broadcasting, whilst also ensuring that we use this opportunity to explain and the powers that may be who can do what. So we're close to the issue, and we'll see how it evolves. We're hoping that we have an amicable solution from the station, and we'll get feedback, or we would see if a formal complaint is made by the station, and then we'll take the next.
Fear is not giving hours.
Like I said, is in two. You have two wings of it. Definitely, if an entity is not mandated to be able to close a station, and that entity does that successfully, it is not good at all. However, also we also need to look at the balance of how stations also operate, and much as there's freedom of expression, we also need to be clear about the boundaries so that these clashes do not happen, or when they happen, we have a way of managing it. But it definitely goes into the books. The journey is not ended. We still have a lot to learn. If you look at what has happened now, even though it is a station, the subject of contention on what may have been said on that station now is actually being discussed in multiple other stations. So I remember there's a question that, okay, so if something is said, when you close one station, does it bring the subject to an end? It doesn't. So maybe the closure of a station, yes, may be a partial solution, but we see other stations are now, it is now the trending topic for most stations currently. So maybe the closure of the station may not be the solution for the KTC we're asking. But legally, a station cannot be closed in this manner. We actually do not find this acceptable. But it is the station's responsibility, first of all, to make a formal complaint. Okay, if somebody impinges on your right in any way, the first thing you do actually is to also make a complaint. I think they're capable and they have discussed that, but they believe that the engagement may get to a point where they may not need to do that. But at that point, we leave it for the station, even though they have been the engagement. But we expect the station to tell us if they are they are shutting down because they said so, or they feel they must do that. Of course, we expect, especially maybe the Ministry of Information, but all the same, we also expect, even though they have not formally, if they haven't even made a formal complaint, I know that the NMC, GIBA, and other, we're also very concerned about this happening. It should not be heading this way. It should not be in, because I guess what had happened is that probably if they were still operating, then it may turn into something else which we wish would not happen. So it's important that government and other bodies also can get involved, and then proactively we get out of these situations that happen. But at the same time, we also have to find ways as stations to make sure that we also do not get to the point where these things may happen. Definitely. Even though we asked to see the whole thing, we've seen only a portion of the interview that happened. And if you look at it, the station did try to avert, even though we want to see the whole picture. But it's important that when you have guests, the moderation is very important for hosts to ensure that the boundaries of speech are also maintained so that you do not impinge on any other. But that's one thing said. It does not still stop you from having to discuss issues that are of concern to our country and our communities. That is basically what the stations are there to do. They are the voice of the people. So it's just how it is delivered is where we want to make sure that the professionalism comes in. So this has happened, but I think it's a good point for us to also look at it. Now the topic of concern, like I said earlier, is all over the radio waves. It is trending online. Okay. Now everybody is saying something. So what are the limits of it? So it is not about the topic that will be discussed, but it's about how it's discussed and how to manage guests or hosts on shows that is within the confines of professionalism. We are hoping not to see some of these. Initially, the focus has been regulators closing stations, and that has been the focus. But now we've seen traditional and private entities also getting into the states of having these infractions, these conflict with some stations. It's an area we need to focus on. And at the end of the day, where do we have all the rules that are packaged and we need to refresh? We know this is an online radio station. We've got to also get into the space where we make sure that these entities who are in these spaces also fall within some clear regulatory framework that going forward. We're waiting and we're hoping that in a couple of months or soon, we should be able to, together with the responsible ministries of information, have a broadcasting bill that also encapsulates all the ethics and professionalism standards that should be kept within our media space in one place. As GIBA, we have a code of ethics that we use for our membership. But as a nation, I guess that's also another area that we need to look at. And we believe that the broadcasting bill, when passed and becomes a law, would and captures these aspects, will be actually helpful. And so we're learning from this as we go along. Well, that is what we're trying to. We've been pushing. I think there has been a roadmap that has been shared by the Minister of Information on this a couple of months ago. We're hoping that and looking forward that this will start getting to the point where we start to roll this out. However, I mean, we're a dynamic industry, right? Like the whole world. We may have a bill, but from time to time, we would have to keep amending it to make it suitable for the current circumstances. But we need to start from somewhere. So we will say that the bill is the broadcasting bill is way about time that it is out. To start handling some of these things. Maybe these occurrences, maybe we may not have captured earlier in our drafts. But now we can also look at it and make sure that all these are very clear in the bill. But however, in the current circumstances, there are alternatives and paths that we can use to resolve such issues should they come. But we need to capture it into one, which would be the bill. We're actually looking forward to hopefully a peaceful resolution of this, and the station will back on air and still serve as a voice to people. Remember, it's an online station. Though they are based in Kumasi, they may have a listenership that will be much broader than the location where they are based. And they resolve this amicably with the traditional council and then we rather focus a bit more on the topic if it is of concern, and then we debate it dispassionately, and then have a resolution which will help our country resolve the problem that we have.